the core of our discussion today is deemed grants, where there is no C of O. There is a section of the Land Use Act that has brought this novel documents, or that gives power, or that recognizes this document that is probably sounding strange, deemed grants. And I said it's because of the situation we had in July that I decided to talk about it. We'd like to enlighten the public, like, okay, so they will know that, okay, something like this exists. But that's not to say that property law transactions should actually be handled in the absence of an expert or an experienced property lawyer. I would always say, please be guided by professional, whether it is a property transaction or whatever transaction you want to do, because in the long run, it turns out to be cheaper. And I'm going to buttress that further. It's always cheaper when the professionals are involved from the beginning. What happened that necessitated this discussion? Someone reached out to us and said, lawyer, I want you to draw up a deed of assignment for me. So I gave the assignment to my junior. And afterwards, the junior came back and said, some of the questions that he's asking the man is unable to proper answer. You know, we would ask for the root of title when we are drafting agreements, because we want to put it in the reciter, or there's a part of the testatum that we need to insert those things into. So the lady had asked the man, please, can you give me the root of title and all of that? Have you done your due diligence and all of that? The man said he has done everything, that he has even paid a part of the money, he's just remaining the balance. But before he pays the balance, he wants our law firm to give him a deed of assignment, to quickly draw up a deed of assignment for him. And we told him, your transaction does not necessitate a deed of assignment. And he was shocked. He said, no, that is deed of assignment that the family has been giving out to every other person that bought. There is a family property somewhere in Lagos State. I said I'm presenting from Lagos State. And that is a deed of assignment that the family has been issuing to everybody. That I should just give him a deed of assignment. I then sat him down like, okay, you know why you can't get a deed of assignment? Or why we will not draw up a deed of assignment for you? He said, no. I said, the property you are buying, you said it's a farmland. He said, yes. The land has never been registered with Lagos State government. He said, no. I said, so there is no route. We are not tracing you to any route. He said, no. And I said, you cannot have a certificate of occupancy because these documents are done in volumes. That is why you see those particulars of registration. You may see something like 2020, 112. They mean something. The number, the pages, the volume, they are kept like that in the archives. That's why we call them roots. You trace every document to the mother document. So you don't just register a document in the air. You cannot put something on nothing. So there must have been something in the deeds registry under which you must bring your documents. So documents are not registered. They are not just registered individually. There is nothing like that. They are kept in volumes. They are kept in archives. The page number, the volume number, and all of that, they are traced. Once you bring a document and the document relates to a particular transaction, if you open that volume, you will see everything. That is why we are able to do due diligence. That is the only way we are able to do it. If documents are registered indiscriminately, anyone that comes to just register and throw it away, we will not be able to trace the sequence of events that have happened on a particular transaction. So I told him, your own document is going to form the roots of this particular transaction. He said, so what is he entitled to? I said, deemed grants. And the man started laughing. He's laughing hysterically. Lawyer, I'm sorry, excuse my lawyer, what will be deemed grants? I said, well, it is not in your place to even know what a deemed grant is. But what we are doing as a law firm is to make sure that you have the right instruments so that when you want to perfect, you will not be stuck. Because most of us have documents at home and we think we'll be able to perfect. Some of those documents, I'm sorry to say, might just be tissue paper. Because When it comes to perfection, you will not be able to do it. You call another lawyer, and the lawyer will start from square one. By then, maybe you need the family members or whoever you bought them for to re-execute for you. And because for those that are joining from outside the country, permit me to say that in this part of the world, Nigeria, Lagos State, where I'm presenting from, if a family or a group of persons have signed documents for you before, and you come back after some months, even weeks and years, after some years is even the worst. If you come back after some weeks, you are not going to get the documents free. Something must pass. And well, that is not the topic of our discussion. Whether it's morally right or wrong, that's a discussion for another day. But something must pass. That is why it is always good to have a tidy arrangement from the onset. It's always good to have a tidy arrangement from the onset. We don't just leave things to chances and then we feel that, oh, everything is in order. So, but the long and short of this scenario that I'm actually giving, which is a real life scenario, is that the man agreed that we should prepare a deemed grant. Reason being that if at the time you were buying, they did not give you the mother document, they didn't tell you that probably Mr. Kola has bought before. So Mr. Kola has a certificate of occupancy, and then Mr. Kola is the one now assigning to you. So the particulars of Mr. Kola's certificate of occupancy is the particulars under which we are going to give you an assignment. As in, if we try to reason it a little, we will see that there is logic. Even while I'm talking law, there is a lot of logic inside. It's only logical that is from what I get that I give to you. If I do not have, I cannot give to you. And that was the scenario this man painted. The villagers have been using that place as a farm. They have never gone to register the place with the government that so and so parcel of land, parcel XYZ measuring 1, 2, 3 square meter belongs to Ijoba family, or I'm just, there's a fictional name. So they've never done that. And because they've never done that, have you now sold a part to an unsuspecting buyer, an innocent buyer? What does the innocent buyer have to do? You have to secure your stake. So he needed the right instrument. Now that the law firm prepared a deemed grant for him, the deemed grant is deemed that the customary law owners of those land continue to hold same as if the governor of Lagos State had given them. Deemed, from the English word, it is deemed. That is, I don't want to be explaining the English word deemed, but just the literal meaning of the word deemed is the same thing I'm trying to explain, just that it is now in the law parlance. It is deemed that the right things are in place. So when you prepare a deemed grant, when the person gets to the stage of perfection, he or she is able to perfect seamlessly. Reason being that the right instrument has been executed for the transaction. And that was why I said, okay, maybe there are persons who have bought in time past and they did not have a root of title, because some persons, they will just, and when the documents, I'm sorry to say anyway, but when the document is verbose, when it's wordy, plenty words, I think you should even be careful, because most times those things did not contain anything. Because once the root of title has been given to you, you put those things in the proper place. Every document has a part. So it's not that you just take a pen and a paper and you start writing. For every property document, there are different parts of it. There is the consideration part, which talks about the money. There is the execution, there is the textatum, there is the reciter, there is the party clause. There are so many clauses. There is the parcel clause, talking about size. There are so many parts of a property law document that an individual needs to be careful about what those parts of the document actually contains. You don't just do things and leave them to chance, particularly when it comes to property investment. And then, you know, when we started, I would say, we don't want your hard-earned money to be thrown in the drain and all of that. But you see, sometimes we can only do the much that we can, but sometimes some people, they still don't listen to the lawyer. So the reason why we are talking about right instruments is because we want to be sure that the transaction you got into, they gave you the right document. If it's a sale, for those who have dealt with our law firm at one point or the other, you see that probably we will draw up the contract of sale for you. Monetary consideration and all of that is there. That is the sales document. When the sale has been concluded and all of that, we draw up a deed of assignment where there is a root of title. If it is tenancy, for the people who will manage their properties, you see the way we draw our tenancy agreements is different from the way we will draw a lease. When I started the webinar today, I said a lease is a tenancy. It's a form of tenancy, just that the term, the duration, the periodicity is longer in a lease. So there are some clauses that you find in a lease that you may not necessarily find in a tenancy agreement because of periodicity and all of that. And then we talked about mortgage. I cannot draw a mortgage document the way I would draw a deed of assignment because they are serving two different purposes. The parties are different, the nomenclature is different. So there are so many things that one needs to consider. And then sometimes some people may want to actually pledge. You know, pledge is a customary transaction. Maybe you pledge your land, haven't gotten money from somebody, you pledge your land. You're giving that person possession. Mortgages does not go, or oftentimes it does not go with possession. You know, possession is once you pledge your land now, I will move in. But in a mortgage, it's not like that. Mortgage, you may still be in the building, there is time and all of that for the mortgage, for the equity of redemption and all those things to come up, but it's not like that in a pledge. The reason why we discuss this topic today is, I don't know, for those who have property law documents that they may not necessarily be able to understand, you can reach out to us with the information on the flyer. We can guide you. We can let you know if you have the right thing. And please, if you have instruments of transfer at home that you have not perfected, by all means, try and perfect. Do not make a property investment and then you keep the paper. The documents are not registered in your name. You've not gone to the appropriate agency to show that interest or transfer has been done. You have not gone to show them that you are not the new owner, they should register for you. Those are the important ones. They are not the icing on the cake. Those are the real deal. That you have perfected is the real thing that you have actually bought. You cannot just buy, because there are so many issues coming up every day. People have bought, they'll just buy one